Guess what we forgot to do again? Stand by. Here we go.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This from my city, yeah, this from my team. If you talking, it's how to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion. I'm a team. If you talking, it's how to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to YSN Live for this Wild Wednesday here on Your Sports Network. DJ Yoakley, Anthony Twiggy Hartwig joining us as always in the side saddle, I guess, as you can put it.
Sidecar?
I like side saddle. That's kind of neat.
Is that a
it makes
thing?
me feel like we're cowboys a little bit. Should we start wearing cowboy hats? Then is that what we should be doing?
It's funny you say, because I just watched the comeback, the Netflix documentary about the Boston Red Sox in 2004, and one of their slogans that
Cowboy up.
Millar, cowboy up. You know,
that was a dangerous team, man. That was a fun team to watch. I remember watching it vividly. My wife hated before we got to 2004. Before I got there, she didn't like baseball at all. We watched the Boston Red Sox cowboy up through that whole playoff series.
Yeah.
She got it. She understood it. She understood the assignment. Married up. This empowered young man, 5'4.5". You know what I mean? I'm absolutely sizzling. I brought her to baseball. That's all that matters. We have an unbelievable show for you. Unbelievable. And we get to lead off with a big bang. A big bang. And one that's a young man who is such a great athlete, comes from a great athletic family and a great family off the mat as well. Great athletes all over football, wrestling. I mean, you name it. This kid could beat you in chess before you probably could even know what was going on. A state champion, 190-pounder. We got Squeak Feaster going to be joining us here in just a moment. We also, Anthony, have the state runner-up head coach of the South Range Raiders joining us at 12:45.
12:45.
Jeff Spanky DeRose will join us. We got some great nicknames on this broadcast today. We got Squeaky and Spanky. It doesn't get any better than that. And we also have Gary Altizer, who will be joining us as well with some great questions to wrap up our Wrestling Wednesdays for this year. And when you think about kind of how this year has been with wrestling, there's been ups, there's been downs. And obviously we saw a lot of success. And then we saw a lot of people that kind of wanted more this year. How do you see this from a 5,000-foot view for what we've been able to cover for wrestling this year?
Well, first thing I want to say is, and I'm speaking for everyone at YSN, probably Chris Colucci, you, Gary, everyone, especially everyone that's been working hard to cover wrestling. We're so proud of the men and women that went down to Columbus and really showed out. We have plenty of placers and a lot of third place, second place finishers. Only one state champ. We're going to get to him for sure today on the show. But I know everyone wants to win state down there. That's the goal. You want to go down there. You want to win that gold medal. But to get top 3 in the state, I think is just awesome achievement. And then even to place, to make sure that you're one of the top 8 that you place in the state is also just an incredible experience. We saw some young guys go down there and have success, get on the podium. they're going to build on that. We saw a couple of younger girls go down there and get right there on the podium again. They have 2 more years. I'm talking about Ella Thomas, 2 more years to try to win a state championship. It's a tough weekend of wrestling, especially we talked about that Saturday. Saturday's tough because Saturday you have to win one match in the morning and then you have to go to the semis at night to get into the finals on Sunday. So Saturday can be a really, really grueling day and really awesome to see all the success we've had. And this is going to be the season finale of Wrestling Wednesday. And I want to thank all the wrestlers that came on the show throughout the season. It's been a 12 week run that we've had. We started way back in November with Gary Altizer, bringing on wrestlers almost every week. And I want to thank everyone that came on to give us their time and share their story. That's what we're all about here at YSN, sharing stories of these wrestlers.
And we've got some of the best. We've had some of the best, and we are going to end the Wrestling Wednesdays this season, so to speak, with the absolute best. And before we do that, we bring in Gary Altizer. GA, how we doing, buddy?
Oh, how's everything YSN and land? YSN land.
If we were any better, we'd be you. We'd be you. But we're not. You are you, my friend, and there is only one. You are the unicorn that is the wrestling superhero for YSN. Buddy, in about 30 seconds, we've got one of the greatest wrestlers that we've ever had on this particular program coming on, Squeak Feaster. I mean, when you're thinking about this young man, what he was able to do at state, what he's able to do this year, what comes to mind for you?
Hey, he did what every wrestler ever wants to do. He brought home a state title. Not only did that, he did it as an underclassman with a long future in high school still ahead of him. I mean, he's got to be flying high. I'm sure he is, and I'm sure his community and his wrestling team is proud of him, but I'm sure business is as usual because there's no way you get to the top like that without working hard all year round.
All right. You know how this goes. We're going to go 2-on-1. That means I got to bow out. But before I do, I'm going to give the proper introduction to the 2025 190-pound state champion wrestler from Archbishop Akron Hoban. He is an underclassman, as you said. He is the younger brother of a guy that is being recruited by seemingly every college in the country. He is following in those footsteps naturally. A little bit more of a talker, a little bit more of a squawker, but we like his style anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring in Squeak Feaster, state champion. What's up, dude?
What up? What up?
Hey, thanks. Before I bounce, I got to say thanks for joining us. We're so excited to have you here. And naturally, from a standpoint of the YSN coverage area, the YSN family, to bring home that state championship, man, incredibly proud of you. Congratulations, pal.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
All right, boys, it's all yours. Go ahead, Gare.
Well, I'm just going to start with the obvious, man. How are you feeling to this week? It's kind of set in. You got home from Columbus, back into your regular routines. You feel any different?
A little bit. I feel a little bit different, but for the most part, I just had to go out there, and it's business as usual. Go out there and get it done.
I want to talk about the moment, right? The moment you realized you were state champion. You know, we have great celebration pictures from it, of course. What was that kind of like for you? What was the first couple of things that went through your head when the bell rang and hey, I'm a state champion?
My first thought was look in the stands and find my mom, and I found her.
So I'm looking, at the bracket here, and especially in this finals match, you got that takedown, about 27 seconds left. Describe that last minute for me? You're down, then you're up, and then you're trying to, persevere through that last 33 seconds or so.
It's tied up, and they give him a call with the crossface, unnecessary roughness, and I knew I wasn't going to turn him. So I trusted my gut. I went on my feet, and I just knew I had to go through him. I wasn't going to let him stop me. So that's what I did.
How did you mentally prepare for the state meet? As I was saying in the intro, it's a grueling weekend. You have a lot of wrestling to do within a 3-day period down in Columbus against the best wrestlers in the state. How did you kind of mentally prepare for what you were going to see down in Columbus?
Um, you know, I just like to keep it calm, cool, and collected. So the week building up to it, I was overworking myself, and I was making sure that I was getting right.
Every week when we have a guest on the show, I always ask, who is your drilling partner? No great wrestler goes without a great drilling partner, but I have a feeling who you're going to say.
You already know
Yeah.
the answer.
Yeah, I know the answer to that. So tell me about him. Tell me about your brother. Why? What is it about him that makes you a better wrestler, and what is it about him that makes him a great wrestler?
Just every day, me and him going back and forth, and just both wanting to get better, and we both know what each other do. So, we can counter that and make sure that we work to get something else. And we just push each other past the limit that anybody else could push us.
How competitive do you two get with each other in the wrestling room and working with each other, like you said?
We get very competitive. We both don't like to lose, so when we're in there, we're wrestling to win, even though we're brothers. When it comes down to it, we're brothers.
So I'm sure you wrestled in a lot of big tournaments in your life. These days you can get to a big tournament all around the country, just about any time of the year. How did this state tournament compare to some of the other big tournaments you've been in your life?
This one had some special meaning to it because I had promised my mom and my dad and a lot of people that I was going to be a 4-timer and I was going to break that 44-year drought. And, I had to go out there and I had to get it done. So it meant a lot to me, and it was pretty big.
When you think about all the goals that you've set this year, and we're talking about when you get into the top of the mountain, but it's been a long year just to get from plan A to plan B at the start and to the finish. What were some of the keys to getting through the long wrestling season? What were some adversities that you had to face, and how did you kind of get through them?
Well, a big adversity I had to face was when I got sick and I couldn't eat for 2 weeks, and I had to come back with pneumonia and wrestle. And I just had to push myself in the room. I just had to really give myself a talk and, wonder if I really wanted it.
Okay, so you mentioned you lost some weight. So you
Yeah.
might not have had much problem making weight this year,
Yeah.
at least after you got sick. How about before you got sick? I ask this every week. What's your post-weigh-in meal?
So post weigh-in meal, after I weigh in, I'm always eating a big steak, a potato, and I'm taking a protein shake. And before I got sick, I was roughly 207, wrestling 215. But when I got sick, I dropped down to 180, and I was just trying to put weight back on.
Wow. All the way down to 180. He was really sick then, man.
I mean, kidding. We're talking about food. While we're talking about food, what's your guilty pleasure food? Like the one that maybe not the best for you, but every now and then you treat yourself to this snack or this dessert or whatever it may be.
I have a specific snack that I really like, and it's Hudsonville brand ice cream, Blue Moon flavor. I can sit there and eat a tub of it.
Yeah. These are some unique answers here today. A steak,
Yeah,
a potato, Anthony, man. This specific ice cream, I like this.
Yeah, we haven't gotten steak and potato yet.
No, that's a first. We had a lot of unique foods this year. So we've got a long high school career left. How are you keeping yourself motivated? You're already to the top, at least it's statewide. Something every kid dreams of. How are you going to keep yourself mentally sharp moving forward?
In my mind, it's just stay humble because anything can happen. I could get sick again. I could get injured again. Knock on wood. But anything can happen. So just stay humble and keep working. Keep your head down. Stay low.
When we talk to Hoban athletes, no matter what the sport is, I always like asking about what it's like to be a part of this Hoban room and the Hoban tradition. And we've seen so many amazing athletes come through this night's program, whether it be wrestling, football, volleyball, basketball, it doesn't matter. What's it like to kind of look around and see the tradition of Hoban and now kind of put yourself into that tradition? Your legacy's locked in already.
You know, Hoban's a great place, and if you're looking to, shine even later in life, it doesn't even have to be sports. It can be anything. It can be just getting a job here. Hoban, they'll look out for you. It's a family here. It's for sure a family here.
So you wrestled Gabe Miller in the finals. He's a great wrestler, really, really tough wrestler, tough kid. And if correct me if I'm wrong, he beat you the week before district finals, right?
Yep, beat me at districts.
So what kind of mentality did you take in to kind of push that to the side and keep yourself confident?
You know, when I lost that match, I mean, it hit me. It hit me hard. And after I lost that match, that whole week leading up to state after that, I wasn't doing nothing, but I was working, just working. Always in the gym, always on the mat. And I knew I prepared.
You can be real with us. When his name popped up, was there a little bit of revenge kind of getting in your mind, a little bit of anger about that district final? Was that kind of creeping into your emotions a little bit?
Yeah, I had an interview where I definitely spoke my mind about it. But yeah.
Hey, you need those kind of guys in your life and in the bracket to keep you up and to keep you sharp. And you said you put your head down and you just grinded that whole time. That's the true testament of somebody that's wrestled and knows what the sport is. So as you go on in your career, do you think you're going to continue to just keep your head down and not look at anything but the match that's in front of you? Or do you got bigger goals coming up?
That's the plan. Just take it one match at a time and get it done. Handle business as you should.
When you have this kind of success, whether you like it or not, you're automatically a role model. People are going to be looking up to you. And there's a lot of little kids probably in the Hoban community that are getting into wrestling that say that they want to be like you when they grow up. What's that kind of like to kind of feel that and to kind of, realize that there are going to be people now looking up to you and what you do?
That feeling's great. And ever since, me and my brother started getting really good at sports, we realized that we're going to be under a microscope and everybody's going to be watching. So I like to set a great example for people, and even the little kids that look up to me, if they want a picture or anything, I'll just do it for them and I'll let them know.
And then to flip that around, who are some guys or girls that you looked up to when you were getting into this sport that you wanted to kind of mold your game after?
To be honest, I have my role models like Gable Stevenson. He's a big guy, but to be honest, you probably haven't got this one with role models yet. But my dad, he worked his whole life away to make sure we were the best at what we do, and I just wanted to make sure I was doing what he wanted me to.
Gable Stevenson, man, that's a good wrestler to have as somebody you're looking up to. Probably maybe the greatest heavyweight college wrestler ever. Explosive. It just nobody can touch him on his feet. He just is too good. So did you model some of your takedowns after him? What is it about him that drew you to him?
His mentality, just the way he talks about himself and the way he carries himself in the room, outside of the room, off the mat, on the mat. He just, he has that level of confidence to where he knows that he'll win.
Yeah, and he's not one of those 315-pound heavyweights that have to cut down to 285. He's probably walking around about 240. So, I mean, that probably drew you to him too, knowing that, hey, you don't have to be 6'5", 315 in the offseason to win at these heavier weights. You can be athletic and just outwork the guys on the mat.
Yeah.
When you think about things that you have on your future goal board, your dreams, your aspirations, things you want to be, things you want to get to, what are some of those things, whether it be in wrestling, whether it be in life? What are some things that you see for yourself in the future?
I just want to get that 4-timer for my dad. I definitely for sure want to go to college, get a degree, and just for my mom, because, she wants me to go get a degree and work a good job.
Better answer that phone.
So you You mentioned your dad. Is he the one that got you guys into wrestling?
Actually, no. So, do you guys watch UFC and whatnot?
Yeah.
You guys
Absolutely.
know Cody No Love Garbrandt?
Yep.
So he was really good friends with my dad growing up when he grew up in Yorksville, and my brother, he wanted to like fight MMA, and my dad said he started out as a wrestler, and that's how our first wrestling thing happened.
Yeah. So your dad from Claymont then,
Or
or
no,
close?
he went to Indian Valley, but
Okay.
he had friends. He lived like in Yorksville and whatnot.
Okay. Okay. So then I can't ask the next question: who wins in the round robin wrestling match at home? You, your brother, or your dad?
Well, I'll tell you this much: my dad is definitely lasting 30 seconds, and then he's done.
Pretty normal. Pretty normal for dads. You just got to survive 30 seconds with them, and you're good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
that first 30.
Survive it. Squeak, I want to talk about all the coaches you've had in your life. You've been coached by a lot of different people as well, whether it be wrestling or the other sports that you play. What has that done for you to be able to learn from a bunch of different people and different philosophies?
Just getting different perspectives is always good. Different techniques. Some people run things differently, like different techniques for the same move. And not everything's for everybody. So you just gotta find your style and find your technique, and doing that make you the best.
What coaching style fits you the best? Like, what kind of coach gets the most out of you, do you think?
I'd say a hard, grueling coach. A coach that's like, he's not gonna, pity patty around the point. He's gonna let you know, and he's gonna make you work. So definitely like a more hardcore coach. And yeah.
All right, last question from me. What is it that you do in your free time when you're not focused on the mat to kind of give yourself a mental break, a physical break? Do you have hobbies? Do you have shows you watch? What is it that you do to kind of chill out?
I have a big thing. If I'm trying to like ease my mind or just like get out of the moment, I just go get food. I'll go to like a random gas station and get some food that I can warm up. It's just my thing. I just love to eat. So like anything I can do to just go get some food, it just take my mind off everything.
Great answer. Great answer.
Yes, awesome answer. We can't let you go without hearing the story about this nickname you've told us. Everyone except your mom calls you Squeak. You said your mom calls you your government name. Where did Squeak come from?
So as a baby, like I never really cried for things. Like how most babies don't cry and whatnot. I never really cried. I made like this squeaking noise, and anytime I wanted anything, I would just make a squeaking noise and like try to get it. So that's how this name Squeak came.
So you've been Squeak since you were a babe, and you've never been able to escape. Did it take some getting used to? Did you like it at first, or is it just something that you roll with now?
Well, at first when I was actually a little Squeak, and I wasn't 6'3", 6'4", I didn't like it too much because I was small. But now that I'm bigger, it's grown on me, and yeah, I love it now.
You're a big Squeak now.
Yeah.
Oh man, love it, Squeak. Thank you so much for coming on. First and foremost, we want to congratulate you on all your success that you've had so far. We know you have so much left in the tank as well. We can't wait to follow you your whole career on here on YSN and highlight you time and time again for every accomplishment you have. We want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about this year and your state championship. And you ever need anything, you always get a hold of YSN. We'll take care of you. All right.
Yeah. Thank y'all for having me on, and I really appreciate your time.
No, you got it. We appreciate your time so much.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Squeak Feaster coming on with us, state champion from Hoban. Gary, when you think about state championships, I mean, we had a lot of very successful wrestlers go down to Columbus, but only one got that final win to get a state championship. DJ asked me this a little bit earlier. I'll ask you the same thing. What was your kind of takeaway from our time at Columbus from a YSN perspective?
Oh, I think the network did great. Lot of kids on the podium, and we've talked to it's our fourth year. We've talked to how many different wrestlers, and we've interviewed coaches. and we've got how many schools in the network? 60 something schools in the network.
Yeah.
And we had one kid who was able to get on top, and that's Squeak. He was able to get through, push through, get that takedown with 27 seconds left. He just gutted it out and just basically probably put in his head, hey, I'm not losing this match. I don't care what happens. And that's the kind of mentality you have to have. And even if you have that mentality, sometimes it doesn't work out. So that just shows you how hard it is in the state of Ohio to win a state championship at this sport. You've got to be the best, not only in your weight class, in your division, not only that day, but that minute, you've got to be the best. That 27-second period, you've got to be the best. And not many people get to claim that now for his rest of his life. He will always be a state champion.
He's a dog. I mean, an absolute dog mentality. Everything he does. I mean, he was in the middle of an interview. Somebody's calling, probably trying to call their kid off sick for the day. And Squeak just picks up the phone and hammers it down. He's officially got the job as the YSN receptionist, because that's the kind of guy. That's the mentality I need from a receptionist at YSN.
Hey, that's so funny you say that, DJ, because I texted Chris Colucci after his semis match, and I just wrote Feaster's a dog. And that's what Chris wrote back, the same thing. So he's nasty, man. He's fun to watch. He's just going to go after it. And those would make the best wrestlers.
The whole time he hung up that phone, I'm like, he don't care about nobody. He don't care. He's like, this is my time.
This is my time.
And he hammered that sucker down. Yeah. I'm so happy that he was able to spend some time. Obviously, Big Brother just got his 15th offer to play Division I football.
Wow.
So, he's going to be on, I'm sure, at some point in the coming months on YSN. We got to speak to him a little bit before we went on the air. And, dude, the funniest thing about all of this, and he kind of alluded to, he tap danced around, did a good job. Interview was a phenomenal interview by Squeak. But, dude, some of these cats that are down at wrestling in Columbus, they just wrapped these guys right off the mat and stuck a camera in their face and just Squeak I watched an interview. He's got blood in his mouth, he's sucking wind, and this guy's like asking him ACT questions about what he's supposed to be doing, and I'm like, let the kid breathe. He's like, when's your birthday? He's like, I just had a birthday. It was yesterday. And then he just goes to another question. He's done a phenomenal job on and off the mat, on and off the football field. Like I said, a great family. And people, I mean, these two are, I'm going to say it, they're going to be in the NFL. We're going to be talking about them, and it's going to be we remember them when. And like I said, they're always welcome here on YSN. And
heck yeah,
we have a different way of interviewing than most people. I'm not going to pull him off the mat after he's exhausted, or start hammering his brother with questions in the corner of Schottenstein, and be like, where are you going to college? Where's your top 5? No, it was actually, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my, I felt bad for him. And part of me is like, I mean, Gare, I'm not the biggest wrestling guy ever. I'm trying, but I would have given that dude a rock bottom and been like, that's it.
That's it. We're done.
Interview's over, pal. You just met the final boss.
The same guy put a camera in Paige Cowan's face after she won the against the reigning state champion, but she's on the ground getting her ankle taped in obvious pain, and he just puts the camera right in her face. He did not want to be interviewed at that moment. He didn't care.
I mean,
you're catching guys at their most raw. You come off of. You have nothing. Especially at the state tournament, you got nothing left in there. So you're going to be no filter. This is who I am. This is, and sometimes you're going to get, I don't know, because at that point you don't even know where you are. You got everything on the mat. Come and asking me when's my birthday, or where you gonna take your accounting class your freshman year in college. Are you serious, man?
He's like, oh, how old are you? He's like, I just had my 16th birthday, and literally yesterday. And the guy's like, there was no follow-up question to that. There was no reason.
Not even happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah, not even. He didn't sing happy birthday. He didn't do any of that. There was no cake. I don't think. I mean, we can check with Squeak, but I'm pretty sure there was no cake given on the floor. But like it's like these guys are insane. They're like some of these dudes that end up on the and Gary, here's the other thing. This cat, his stuff's out on YouTube. He has both finals for the Feaster Boys, and he's calling them like he's Jim Ross, like on the sideline. It was wild to me. It was absolutely insane. And again, that was not to make fun of the journalist. It was to say how good the Feaster Boys did during those interviews, because, I mean, this dude was in their grill, like right after the match. And, you know, Squeak, I think I'm trying to put these together like puzzle pieces. Brayton was being interviewed and Squeak was on the mat, and Brayton's trying to watch his brother, and this guy's just interviewing him, just like question after question after question. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, if there's another question, this dude is going to be thrown across Schottenstein Center. Like it's going to happen, because again, I think the world and certainly Ohio is finding out that the Feaster Boys are not someone to be trifled with. So
you know, those interviews, they are like the UFC. They get these guys right after these 5-round fights. You know, people, there's a good human connection there. You know, because you're visualizing, you're thinking, man, what would it be like to be in that position? And so you get to see these people, just these kids, these boys, these girls, just, hey, this is who I am. Here I am after this win. This is how I feel. These are my emotions. So there's definitely something to be said about interviewing like that.
They're still kids, though. That's the biggest thing. And I guess that's the real reason we're talking about, is because they did a great job. They didn't let anything get to them. And, in a moment there, they can be a viral sensation for all the wrong reasons. And they did.
Right.
So, hey, that's why we love them. The Feaster Boys, always welcome here on YSN. Congratulations, Squeak, state champion. And, dude, 4-time. Can you imagine? And he's already talking about it. He's already talking about it, which means he's manifesting it right in the back of his mind and pushing it to the forefront. 4-time state champion. Dude, that would be unbelievable. Imagine what would happen if they tried to call in after the 4th state championship. Like, that phone's ringing. He's going to snap that baby off like a Slim Jim, like Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
So, hey, Squeak, we appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for stopping by. Tell Big Bro we're going to be calling him real soon, and getting it. Gary, let's do a quick wrap of Wrestling Wednesdays for the year, man. You guys did an excellent job. Raised the bar yet again on what we do here from a coverage standpoint at YSN for wrestling. What's your grade if you're the prof? What's the grade for what you guys did this year?
Oh, for Wrestling Wednesday, I give us an A. Don't want to give an A+ because there's always room for improvement, but I think we did a good job. I think we do the best job that we can. Anthony does a great job of trying to get the kids on here to interview, which is not easy to do, by the way. Trying to work around their school schedules and everything that's happening during the day to get them on here at 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon is not easy. So hats off to him. That takes a lot of phone calls, messages and back and forth. And the technology is never cooperates. So I think we get an A. I give ourselves an A, and I think we're just going to continue to get better, especially with wrestlers like Squeak and his brother. I think the bar is getting raised in this sport on this network, that we are just continuing to see better and better wrestlers. And, it's just such a great thing for the sport. I said that from day one when we started this show 4 years ago, that the more exposure we can get for these kids on the mat, the better, because I think now everybody's seeing just how tough it is to be a wrestler, just how tough it is to get to the state tournament, and just how nearly impossible it is to be a state champion and to get on the podium in Ohio. So I think that the kids appreciate it and the community appreciates it. And I just hope for good things to continue and better things to come.
Yeah, Gary, and when we recap just the state tournament as a whole for YSN, just some names to shout out. I'm going through the YSN Wrestling Twitter to make sure I can get some of the names that had really good weekends. Tristan Eccles from East Liverpool wrestled really well. Aiden Stecker from Salem. I mean, they'd had a really good program all season long. He got into the 3rd place match. Paige Cowan, as we said, beat the reigning state champion in her in her run. Unfortunately, in the third place in the semifinals, she had to have a medical forfeit in the semi, so she couldn't really get herself to that championship round. But I think if she's healthy, I think she has a legitimate chance to win a state championship. They
Yeah,
already
she beat
the reigning state champ.
an undefeated number 1 ranked reigning state champ, and it wasn't the final score wasn't close either. Paige,
Yeah.
she did a great job. It's just a shame she hurt her ankle,
Mhm.
and just couldn't really give her best out there after that. But heck, she's still got a couple years left. She did great.
Ella Thomas got another third place finish, so that's back-to-back top 3 finishes for her in her first 2 years as a wrestler from Poland. You got Beaver Local had just a day. Like their whole program had a day. How about the freshman who we had on, Jake Hughes? He finished his third as a freshman. He had a good wrestling performance. Bobby Buhite, awesome performance again from him. I think he went 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
6th place in the state. You had Kane Curran. He was able to finish 7th. So a lot of really impressive wrestlers. If I'm probably missing a couple. We've had a lot of placers, but just to highlight some of the names that had big weekends down there in Columbus.
Yeah, on the girl side, Dakota McCracken, I think she's a 4-time placer now.
Yep.
For United. Austin Brown placed
Can't
again
forget
for them.
Megan Koch, who came on and gave us her time. She was able to place as a freshman as well.
Yes, she did great. Yeah, it was just really a great weekend for the network and for all the kids that went there. I think that I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think we did better than last year.
Yeah.
As a network, I really think we did. I think we did better than last year, and I think we had. I haven't done the count, but the amount of kids that were in the semifinals, which means you're 1 match away from the finals. I don't know how many there were, but there were a lot. So, and a lot of them gutted through the blood round match, which is the match to see, if you win this match, you're going to be on the podium. A lot of them won close matches, were able to push through and get to that guaranteed top 8 spot.
Chris Colucci saying he had a blast. It was a great weekend.
Those guys were everywhere, man. We had great interviews on our Instagram page, or on their Instagram page, I should say. Chris Colucci with the camera is a master. He's a photographer. I didn't even know it.
Let's not blow his head up too big.
He
All
took
right.
great pictures. The Twitter was bumping. We had updates from every match that involved the YSN wrestler as well. So the team down there that Chris took down there did a wonderful job.
No, they did exactly what I expected them to do, and then some. I mean, they were incredible. And when you see, people don't realize. I mean, Chris Colucci's a big fella, right? But he's only like 19, 20 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just graduated high school, and he's the one that's kind of taking the bull by the horns and like, hey, I want to go down to Columbus. I want to do this. I want to do this. And he did it. And he did it with a lot of maturity. He did it with a lot of integrity. And we're super proud of what he's able to bring to the table. Because without Gary, without Chris, I'll be honest, there is no coverage. There is none, because you got to have a passion for it. You got to know what you're talking about, because the one thing I told both of you guys was, like, we're not just going to do this to do it. Like, there's got to be a purpose behind it. Wrestling Wednesdays were created. I think that has been an absolute home run. I know, wrong sport, but an absolute takedown, I guess. There we go.
There you go.
But you guys have killed it, man. And you talk about the YSN wrestlers, and they got better from last year to this year. I think this one, from last year to this year, from our whole wrestling program, has really, really, really sent it to another dimension. I mean, we're not where we want to be, right? But I think that we're a long way from where we started, and that's something big, and they continue to prove it every year. And Gary, your continued diligence every single. I mean, anytime we ask you, right? It's not just Wednesdays, and there's a lot of prep that goes into this that you have to prep for Wednesdays, because you got a lot on your plate as it is, man. You're a coach. You're a legend, number one, but you're a coach on top of everything else. Thank you. Chris Colucci, thank you. Joe Murray, thank you very much. Ty Stricko, thank you very much. Interestingly enough, I think we just did an interview with Ty Stricko, baseball wise. So thank you, Chris Colucci. Appreciate you. And certainly we are becoming one of those the spots that you come for wrestling whenever you want the truth, the information, and what we call journalism.
Journalism at the peak. Gary, I say this at the end of every Wrestling Wednesday season. When we started this 4 years ago, I knew nothing about the sport. The questions that I was asking Gary in the first season of Wrestling Wednesday were off the wall. I was just like, what's this? What's this? Can you do this? And we've gotten to a point when I think, I'm not a wrestling expert by any means, but you've kind of guided me along this journey where I can ask these wrestlers some questions too. And we appreciate what you bring to those interviews and what you're able to do for the coverage of these kids. So I know DJ said thank you. I'm going to say thank you too, because for 3.5 years before this YSN Live podcast, it was you and me on Running Point, and we're doing a great job. Like you said, there's plenty of things that I want to do next year to do a little bit better, and I'm excited for next season.
I'll be here as long as you guys want me.
Oh, you're never leaving then.
Yeah, you're never leaving. That's it. We're done. You're locked in.
We're going to take you into a cabin in the woods, buddy. You ain't getting out. Gary, we love you, man.
You guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you a million times over. You're the best there is, buddy. Thank you.
All right,
and we'll talk real soon, okay?
All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you, GA. Gary Altizer, ladies. He deserves every bit of the applause that you can give him. Not easy being cheesy. And GA is about as good as it gets, man. I don't know how you make a segue from that to what we are about to have. This next guest is a guy who I've known for longer than YSN has been around. A guy that collectively is one of the worst fantasy football players you could ever imagine, but one of the best friends you could ever have. A guy who continues to be separated because, he had a daughter, right? In the South Range program.
Carly.
Carly, and thank you very much. And he went up through it, and he continues to come back because he still has so much to give and so much to learn even from the girls, and loves doing it every single time that he's out there. A guy that is near and dear to my heart, who has the best spaghetti in the world, the best Italian chef that Easter has to offer. Ladies and gentlemen, this time we bring in the South Range head softball coach, Mr. Jeff Spanky DeRose. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I'm picking DK Metcalf as my first pick in fantasy. So what does that tell you?
As long as it's not Dwight Stone, you're going to do all right, right?
What I want to know is who's going to wear number 14 in Pittsburgh.
Well, I think Neil O'Donnell's going to come back and things are going to shake out. It's not looking real good at quarterback right now for our Steelers, buddy.
Exactly. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. How are you, buddy?
Good. Very good.
Speaking of very good, you have a very good softball team. Runners up last year, obviously not the outcome that you wanted, but you lose one senior. Now, a great senior. FedEx was someone that we love and was a big part of this team and the culture that South Range has. But to only lose one and be runners up, there are probably lofty expectations for this year. How do you feel coming back into 25?
Yeah, we feel great about coming back in 25. And we did this in 2016 also when we made it to the state championship and lost, come back in 2017, losing only one senior, and got upset in the district semis in 2017. So, the girls immediately got that speech right after the championship game last year, and they're constantly reminded this year. But, unfortunately for our team, we did lose FedEx. Gretchen Bartels, fantastic player, had a breakout year as a senior. But the unfortunate thing is that we lost two more starters from last year's team due to injury. Kiera Brogan, our starting shortstop, set a school record for hits as a sophomore, tore an ACL in basketball open gyms, and she's slowly but surely trying to work her way back. And if we make another playoff run, she may be able to come back on a limited basis. And just not too long ago, in fact, she just had her surgery yesterday. Addison Wardle tore her ACL in indoor softball a few weeks ago. So our middle infield is brand new. Let's just say that. And our first baseman will be brand new. So if you go from right to left, no returning first baseman, second baseman, or shortstop from last year's team.
So it's probably not what you expected if we had this interview back in maybe November or October about what this team was going to look like. But as a coach, your job is to obviously pivot and to navigate what you're given. How's it been to try to, navigate that and navigate the uncharted waters that you didn't expect that you'd be in?
Well, here's the great thing is that we were so deep, and we're still deep, not as deep as we could be. But there were players that didn't get a whole lot of playing time last year that are stepping into those positions, and it really doesn't. We haven't really missed a beat in those positions yet. We had a little bit of a kind of a faux pas on the other day when we scrimmaged Jackson in Massillon the other day. Or defensively, we're still kind of touching and feeling and learning some things. But the crazy thing is there's still some girls on the bench that can fill in spots. So it would be a lot harder on me as a head coach trying to get playing time for everybody if Brogan and Wardle were both healthy. I mean, we're still a deep team, eager to get back on the field, and we're going to have a nice hard practice today and hopefully figure some things out before our first game.
Depth is one thing. Obviously, coaches love having depth on the
Yeah.
roster, but experience is another. And that's kind of what I think you were touching on. How do you get that experience while you're kind of building this plane in the air?
Yeah, and experience comes with, being willing to learn early in the season and give girls chances to either pass or fail. The girls that we give chances to, whether they do or don't win a position, towards the middle of the season. And that's kind of like the way we've been rolling at South Range, is that everybody gets a chance early in the season, especially in the preseason games, to either prove themselves or not prove themselves. And when we get to the middle of the season is when we really start trying to solidify our lineup to get into the tournament. So I think by the time, Myrtle's late this year in Myrtle, when we get back, you'll probably see more of a fixed lineup then, in the latter part of April than you will in the first 3 weeks of our season.
I was going to ask about Myrtle because usually it's early in the season. It's when you kind of test your team and figure a lot of things out before you come back. This year, it's like you said, it's late. It's April 20th. You're come back and maybe have 2 weeks of the regular season left after you come back from Myrtle Beach. So what's the plan for using it this year? What do you see out of getting out of Myrtle Beach this year? It's going to be a little bit different with the timing.
Well, hopefully the competition is as good as it has been, which is, the nice thing about Myrtle being late in the season. If the competition has it's been in the past, it'll prepare us for the tournament. I mean, we try to schedule, all year long. We try to schedule bigger teams than us. We're playing early in the season. We're playing Mentor and Hoover, but those are the types of games we really try to schedule towards the end of the season to get ready for the tournament. So we're hoping that the likes of Mentor and Hoover are in Myrtle Beach to prepare us for, we get back, it's only like another weekend and we're starting sectionals. So it's all about playing competition. I tell the girls time in and time out, I'm not chasing wins as a coach. I care more about preparing the girls for the tournament play. And hopefully that's what Myrtle does this year. Like you said, Anthony, in the past, we kind of used Myrtle as a stepping stone to figure out where we're going to be in the season when we get back. But this year is obviously different. It's as late as Easter as I can ever remember.
As a former catcher, nothing gives me more nausea than talking about pitchers. But pitching is what it's all about. I mean, talk to me about what you have in the circle. It seems like you've got a little bit more depth in the circle this year than you have in years past.
Yeah, I mean, with losing Addison to the ACL injury, we were 5 deep. Now we're 4. Jaylee comes off of just a fantastic season, and Jaylee and I had a really good conversation yesterday after practice because, she was a little concerned that I was upset with her, which I kindly told her I'm never upset with you, Jaylee. I mean, if I can model her amongst all of our teams and the dedication and the work ethic, I think we would be very, very good. But, helping Jaylee this year, she was a workhorse last year. We have Ashley able to pitch. we have Selena able to pitch, and we have a freshman, Sophia Brogan, able to pitch. And either one of those girls at any given moment can step in and give Jaylee a hand. And that's going to happen this year, not like last year where we rode Jaylee pretty much all season. She did get some breaks from time and time, time again. But this year, I think you'll see a little bit of a different lineup, especially our battery. Still trying to figure out catcher. We moved Heidi from catcher to second base just to see how that works out because of the loss of Addison again. So, yeah, we're deep at pitching. It's a luxury as a coach to have pitchers that you can put in any given moment and not worry.
You know, you talk about pitchers that you can put in any given moment. I remember last year's district tournament where it got a little dicey and you put Ashley in there and she held down the fort. How much do you think that experience and that confidence kind of gave her, not just moving on to the tournament, but will give her into this season?
Yeah, I mean, she knows she can do it. I think you're referring to Poland.
Mm-hmm.
We threw her in against Poland, and that was the third time we played Poland that year. And it's hard to beat a team 3 times. And Poland's a great program. Jim Sarich does an awesome job there. And I remember at the draw that they went into our bracket, and I'm thinking to myself, that's probably what I would have done. I can beat South Range. They almost beat us during the regular season. But yeah, it's the preparation, Anthony, it's tough. I mean, we gotta do what we did last year. Let's just say that.
I think when you look at obviously the injuries that you've already alluded to, there was a couple big gasps earlier even than that when you talk about Giada Pauline and you talk about Anna A, who are recovering from injuries as well, but sound like they're going to be at least 80 to 90% whenever they take the field this spring. As a coach, it's tough because you just got bit by the injury bug over and over again, Jeff. Yeah. I mean, at what point did you go to the church and start counting the roses?
Well, like you said, Anna, I was there when G got hurt. She got beamed in the hand and broke her hand, and it wasn't a fracture that is a crack and heals itself, and she had to get pins and surgery and the whole 9 yards. Obviously a key player. She had the winning hit against Champion last year in extra innings. And then Anna, my God, you can take Anna and you can put her pretty much anywhere except pitcher, and she would perform well. When I heard she went down, I'm like, oh no, what the heck is going on with us? And then later on in the basketball season, Heidi she twisted an ankle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, am I cursed or what's going on here? But yeah, I mean, it's the injury bug. I think we have under control. I tell these girls, we need to be. We only have 21 healthy right now, so we need to be careful on the injury bug. We had to revamp our JV schedule to accommodate to have proper personnel at games. Trying to schedule JV on off varsity dates, so these girls can get adequate playing time and what have you. But just to put a good product in the field. And alluding back to what Anthony's question was earlier about pitchers, we saw Ashley last year in key games, and you'll probably see Ashley again this year. But the other two that's been throwing, Selena and we call her Mud, Sophia Brogan, very, very good pitchers. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see what we're all about here in a couple of weeks.
Well, I've seen Sophia Brogan working with Matt Hamley down at Fast Pitch Performance, and yeah, she's pretty dang good. I can't wait to see her on the field in that South Range uniform for the first time. But Coach, when we transition into talking about this NE8, you split with Lakeview last year. I know that's probably eating at you guys. You want to win the conference by yourselves. Talk about the conference, what the challenges are going to be, and what you see out of it this year as well.
Yeah, just like you said, Lakeview, and it's a rotating schedule. Lakeview is first on the list this year, and it's going to be a battle right out of the gate. I'm not saying that we're the best 2 teams in the NE8 because you can never, ever count anybody out. You don't know what incoming freshmen are coming in. Poland always gives us fits, and you look at Niles, their program, it's been down as of late, but who knows what they have coming up. And same with Strother. I mean, it's hard to tell, what we're getting into until you actually see the teams that you haven't played yet that are later on in the schedule, how they're faring against teams that you did play, and then you'll have an idea. But starting out with Lakeview right out of the gate is going to be fun. Let's just say that they beat us. They know they can beat us. We beat them, and we know we can beat them. It's going to be a battle right out of the gate.
All right, my last question for you, and probably one that I'll regret asking after you give me the answer, is what got you into this in the realm of coaching, and what keeps you going?
Well, gosh, Carly's 30 right now. And when Carly was 7 years old, I started coaching coach pitch softball. And long story short, when she was in the 6th grade, I got a phone call from Dan Zolik, who was the athletic director at the time. And I was knee deep into the youth program and having some success taking all-star teams to bigger schools like Fitch and what have you, and winning them. And at the time, the current coach was resigning from South Range, and I got a phone call saying, "You interested in coaching high school?" And I'm like, "No, I'm flattered, but thank you." I says, "I got to kind of still follow my daughter. She's only in the 6th grade. If she were a freshman, I'd consider it, but I'm not a daddy ball person either." And he says, "Okay, I understand, no problem." And 2 weeks later, he's like, "We're desperate." And so I thought about it, and I said, I'll give it 1 year. And I gave it 1 year, and 19 years later, here I am. It's one of those things that, again, my conversation with Jaylee yesterday after practice, it's one of those things that's players like Jaylee Wilt that keep you coming back. You fall in love with these kids, and it's the truth. It's the kids that keep you coming back. And as long as I'm continuing to have fun and make an impact in these kids' lives, I'll keep coming back.
Coach, I don't want to let this interview. Oh, sorry, DJ.
Yeah.
No, I knew I was going to get him emotional on that one.
Yeah. I'm good, though. Look, no tears, man.
Atta boy, Spank.
Almost.
There you go.
Hey,
Almost.
way to keep that man card.
I just can't believe Carly's 30. That blows
30.
my mind.
Hall of Fame, Carly, by the way.
Yeah,
let's go.
She's 30.
Coach, I wouldn't let this interview go without letting you talk about the staff and the people that work so hard to help you build this program. You don't do it by yourself. So give some people some shout outs that really, help you build South Range softball into what it is.
Except for Farron. Except for Farron.
Yeah.
Don't shout him out.
Who's that?
Exactly. The lesser golfer of the two of you, I've heard.
Well, that's nothing. That's an easy win for me. Don Farron, I mean, one heck of a coach and equally as good of a friend of mine. Don and I go way back. We've been coaching. My gosh, like I said, I've been here. This is my 19th year. I want to say 16 of those years, Don and I have been together. He being the manager when Carly was playing, and me being the manager prior to Carly playing. And then, recently since Don became the athletic director, the guy's just very knowledgeable. He's a great pitch caller, a good game caller. I trust him tremendously. And then you got Melissa Starkey. I mean, how can you get a better assistant than that? Who's played the game, knows the game, and kind of she reels me back in, let's just say, from things I want to do. And she's the kind of person that pulls me aside and says, "Hey, let's discuss this as a coaching staff." So, without those two, we would have never made it to where we've made it in the past few years without those two. I don't do this stuff by myself. Those two are awesome coaches. And then you got Lauren Pavlansky, you got Sarah Fischel and Sarah Durr at the JV program who do a fantastic job keeping the girls engaged. Can't wait to see. This is Lauren's first year as a JV manager. And, she put the hammer down yesterday, talked about the practice the day before, and we're ready to roll. We're practicing together today. We're going to do kind of an inter squad. So I'm curious to see how the JV players transpired since I left them a couple of weeks ago.
I love hearing that. Obviously, coaches, stick together, and it's no different. Well, I guess it is a little bit different whenever it is South Range, because you guys do it a lot of times better than many. So, Coach, congratulations on 19 years. I did the quick math in my head. You only have my daughter just turned 3, so you've only got 15 years left. So start the
15
countdown
years
clock.
left. So I'll be 74 years old, man.
Well,
Hope I'm
you know
still
what?
walking, Spanky.
Oh, dude, I will trot your ass around if you're not walking. I will put you in a wheelchair and I will take you out to first base myself because we all
All
know
right.
Sharon still won't let you have third. Buddy, thank you so much as always for stopping by. We appreciate you. We love you.
I appreciate you guys as well. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Spanky DeRose. The best. The absolute best there is. Dude, I've known Spank. Now, he got that nickname well after I've known him, but and if you notice, he calls me Spanky too because it's a shared nickname. Story to come, I'm sure, in another coach's corner. We've told it many times. But he is the salt of the earth guy. I mean, there are very few, very, very few. And to me, Jeff DeRose is at the top of the list. Softball coaches, and my daughter doesn't even know softball. She just learned how to throw a football yesterday. People that I would want to not only be coached for my daughter, but to help her become a better woman and a better young lady, because that's what guys like Jeff DeRose do. And, you could see him getting emotional as he was talking about, why he does it, what keeps him coming back. That's the kind of coach that I want for my kids. And Jeff DeRose is just a rock solid dude, human being. He would give you the shirt off his back. You don't want it, but he would give it to you anyway, because that's the kind of guy he is. And I can't, every time that we set up interviews with Jeff DeRose, I get excited because I get to showcase to the world the kind of guy that he is. And great family, great human being. And we throw love around a lot on this show. I love that guy. I would take a bullet for Jeff DeRose. There's no doubt.
I'm right behind you. If that bullet goes through you, it goes through me too, because I would stand right in front of it with you. I mean,
thanks for standing behind me when a bullet's coming.
Well,
at
we're
me,
both getting
you
hit,
jerk.
so it doesn't matter who
You big
stands in
jerk.
front. I think you could get to it faster than I could. So, no, I was 2 years in front of Carly, in high school. I was a senior when she was a sophomore, and I watched her throughout her high school career. And I just remember in high school the way those coaches treated me as a fan of the team. I remember one time they don't make this trip anymore. They went to the Wendy's Classic, which is in Ashland. I couldn't go. I was real bummed as a high schooler. Couldn't go watch them. And then a homeroom the next Monday, Farron walks in with a Wendy's Classic t-shirt and says, "We missed you down there. Make sure you wear this season." It's just those little things that they do for people that support their program, over the moon. And it's one of the big reasons why I became such a big softball fan. And all the friends and coaches and players I've met since then, it probably wouldn't start without Coach DeRose, Coach Farron, and the South Range softball program, and the way they treated me when I was in high school. So, yeah, those guys, anyone that wants to say I'm not a Raider anymore when softball season comes around, think again.
Just softball. Just nah. And I want to clarify. I'm getting text messages like Donnie Farron and I are dear friends. Like I was just busting his chops because I know he's watching,
Right.
and that's what he does to everyone. Bust their chops because he loves them. You said it best. Donnie Farron is the best there is. Great administrator. One of the hardest working athletic directors there are. Obviously, you can tell because he is the CEO of South Range Athletics. That's essentially what being an athletic director is. And as you can tell, they're doing pretty well for themselves over there in the range. So thankful for Donnie saying yes to us such a long time ago for us to be able to do this even, and we're just grateful. And it's always special when we get to interview people that we appreciate, we love, and Jeff DeRose certainly at the top of that list. All right, Anthony, are you ready for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark presented by Joe Dickey Electric? They are everything electrical. You can visit them on the web 24/7, 365 at DickeyElectric.com. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Did you like how I did that though? Like I had to raise it up like I was Canadian at the end.
Yep.
Eh?
Ready,
It is the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric, and here it goes. All right, buddy, what's your spark?
Well, since this was the last week of the season of Wrestling Wednesday, I just want to give another shout out to all the wrestlers that have come on to this program. Gary alluded to it. It is hard to get these wrestlers, and especially middle of the day, middle of the school day. But every time we reach out to someone, they were like, "Yes, 100%. I will do whatever I have to do to get on this show." And I want to thank every wrestler that came on this year. We talked to a lot of great wrestlers this season, ending with the squeak. The mighty squeak of Archbishop.
What a way to end it, huh?
You always like to end it with a champ, right? That's the goal is. And I want to thank all the guys and girls that came on this show the last 12 weeks that we've had Wrestling Wednesday. It's been a great season, and once again, I can't wait for next season of Wrestling Wednesday.
But when wrestling ends, what does that begin?
We'll have Running Wednesdays coming soon with Rick Seipert, season 2. Can't wait.
Last time I saw Sipe was a couple weeks ago, and usually he's looking like your old boy here, Golden Domer.
Yeah.
He had some lettuce going.
Oh man,
he had some lettuce going, Ant. I'm excited. I want to see how it's progressing. Maybe he gives guys like me a little bit of hope. Little bit of hope. I'm guessing that my days are done with a head of lettuce. But I mean, he looks good. He looks good. He was challenged by his son, said, I don't think you could do this. And all of a sudden he put down the barber saw. He put down the razor blade, and he's letting that baby fly. So I'm excited to see Sipe and see what kind of, by the time he pops on here, he might have a little bit of an afro.
Oh, that would be fun.
A Sipe-fro.
Sipe-fro.
My spark is, and this is, we don't like giving away free advertising, but I got to do this because in my mind, I was going over to Wendy's and I was going to get a delicious sandwich. We all know and we all love Wendy's. Their lemonade is exquisite, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I start my journey down 7 to turn on to 14 to go get my Wendy's, and I put the brakes on. A bright, blinding light was shining down on a restaurant here locally called Sweet Melissa's.
Oh, well.
Took a left-hand turn out of our beautiful complex here at Athletics. Got on into the parking lot, Sweet Melissa's. I walked in, and I said, she goes, "Hi there," as they typically do. Not like "Welcome to Moe's," but it was along those same lines. "What can I help you with?" I don't know. Anthony, I went in there blind. All I could see was God shining down that bright light on Sweet Melissa's. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna let God take the wheel on this one. And she said, "Do you like Caesar salad?" I said, "I do."
I do.
She pointed me to the Caesar wrap. And boy, does it smack. Oh man, she talked it up. Like it was the soup of the day, the soup du jour, if you will. And I went with the Caesar wrap. She asked me if I wanted a cookie. I said, "Have you ever seen a guy that looks like me say no to a cookie?" Caesar wrap and a cookie, $9. Can't beat it. The best wrap I've had. Ladies and gentlemen, not a paid advertisement, although we'd love it to be. Yeah. Melissa, wherever you are.
The door's open.
Sweet as you are. We are promoting the Caesar wrap at Sweet Melissa's on this Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, because that thing was amazing. I will be back again and again. Whether God shines that light down on Sweet Melissa's or not, I know where it is now. That's easy. That's easy to order. So there is your Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and you can visit them on the web at at DickeyElectric.com. Anthony, what a great show. Phenomenal show. Thank you for setting everything up. People don't know all the great things that you do behind the scenes. And certainly we have interviews to come. We had Dave DeJoy earlier today, right? So we'll have that interview out possibly on the show tomorrow. And then we've got a ton of Canfield baseball interviews and the Mineral Ridge from yesterday. We got a lot of good feedback on Mineral Riz, by the way. And then who else? We have some lives on tomorrow as well.
Yeah, we have Nicole Waite, the head coach of the Howland softball program. She'll be joining us live, as well as Clarence Andre, the head coach of the East Palestine softball program.
I know him well. Coach Andre, Mr. Andre. He was a substitute teacher when I was in high school.
Andre,
Not to make him feel old, but
a little bit. You know?
he probably feels old looking at me having no hair. And he's probably like, oh my gosh. That kid had a full head of lettuce whenever I met him. That's going to do it for the show. As always, we're grateful for you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you to Squeak Feaster for stopping by, Jeff DeRose for stopping by, and thank you for making us part of your day. We're so lucky to be able to do what we do, and it's all because of you. So thank you for that. For Anthony Hartwig, my name is DJ Yoakley. We'll see you tomorrow at high noon right here on YSN. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com. Okay, wait. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.